Hello, thank you for joining me on another Dear Sam Help Horsemanship Series. I wanted to change things up this week and kind of talk about the things that aren't spoken about, meaning allowing ourselves permission. I think many people get so much information in the horse world from so many different places. Much of it good intentioned, even if it may not be appropriate or may be a limited perspective, may not be applicable to whoever is sharing it, to whatever the scenario is. But basically, a majority of people have good intentions when they go to interact with the horse. The problem is, a lot of horse owners are getting overwhelmed. They're just plain overwhelmed. They're stressed out when they're going to the barn, whether it's out of politics and distractions and chaos of what might be happening in the world around them. They are getting inundated with things they should and shouldn't be doing with the horse, and so therefore every time they're showing up with the horse, they are sending mixed signals because they aren't even clear as to why they're doing what they're doing, how they're doing something, and then somehow they're expecting the horse to sort themselves out and guess what it is that the human is asking of them, and then it feels frustrating and it might feel like a battle and overwhelming. I think there are many times that we have gone through the motions with our horses, and we keep being, we'll say, cheerleaded on by our trainers or our friends that we ride with, and yet there are a lot of questions and moments of self-doubt where we feel like we're missing something or we're not understanding why and how things are happening or unfolding in the interaction with the horse, and we want to delve into that, and yet we kind of feel like we're being pushed along with the momentum in order to have this thing that we call success with the horse, of how much did we accomplish and how fast did we do it. And I really wish more professionals would give their students permission to take their time, permission to become clear in how they're using their body awareness, become clear in equine behavior. One of the most overlooked things in the equine partnership is understanding horse behavior, which is sort of mind-blowing that we get as much done as we do with horses, but then you see the reflection of the quality of the experience, or maybe lack of quality, with how many horses are continuously physically breaking down. And it's not an accident. There are so many areas that we are rushed and pushed and trying to be put into what I'll say boxes or categories, as far as this is the type of riding I do, or here is my focus, or this is what I want to learn. And one of the big things in giving yourself permission is, despite whatever you may think is of interest to you, sometimes you might have to consider you may not have the foundation. And this is especially hard for people who've ridden for a long time. It's very hard for them to be told that they're missing kind of some crucial pieces in the foundation of how they interact with their horse, which is then causing the limitations or the struggle when they're trying to ask more of their horse. So we need to give ourselves permission to step back, to assess ourselves. We can assess ourselves without judgment. We can assess our horse without critique, and we can take the information as just that. It's more information that can help us become clear as to where and how maybe there are holes in our horsemanship and things that we might need to address. But if we don't allow ourselves permission and the time to honestly assess, not superficially, yeah, we're fine, keep going, which is the mantra of most people involved in the horse world, we're never really going to have quality. And the more that we ask of the horse, the increasing tension, defensiveness between human and horse, and potential buildup of leading to unwanted outcomes. When I hear people talking about interacting with the horse as if it's guesswork, I wonder what he'll do today, I hope he'll be okay, let's see if he can, to me that tells me there is this fundamental piece that is missing when we are interacting with the horse, that the human is not understanding, as far as how the communication between human and horse needs to be in order to offer support to the horse and not just leave him on his own, hoping that by us pushing and prodding and containing and driving continuously with pressure that he'll sort it out with quality. It's never going to happen, which is why if you open any tack magazine, there's so many gadgets and equipment and stuff to theoretically give you more control over the horse. If we don't step back and allow ourselves permission, it will take more to get less from our horse. If we don't step back and give ourselves permission to take time, we will start to realize that our horse is mentally leaving us and then probably physically trying to leave us more frequently for stronger and longer periods of time. And these things are not accidental. If you look at a young colt that's born and curious about the world, and then you look at them at 3 or 4 years old after maybe they've had a year or two of riding, you often see, unfortunately, a very different horse. And then you look at them 7 and 8, you see these horses who maybe have been ridden very hard, very early on, without a whole lot of clarity, and they have a hard eye. They are mentally withdrawn. They are physically shut down and heavy and resistant. And unfortunately, the human answer often is, well, he's just lazy, he's just resistant, he's just this, we make up this story. We come up with this whole story rather than going, this is a product or a result of the human learning experience. The same thing goes with abused horses, all kinds of things. You can always see what the horse has experienced based on his current mental and emotional state. So the more you can remind yourself to allow yourself permission to assess, to step back, to have perspective, to allow yourself time, to go with that gut instinct if you are feeling rushed or hurried or unclear, and not just blindly continue on without intention, we would see things very differently, and our horse would view us very differently. So I find people write me from all over the world, and this is a huge struggle because as they try to do these sort of things, often other people get offended. It's not about them. Their comments are a reflection of what they're going through, not what you are needing to experience. So the more you can do right by your horse and listen to that voice in your head and allow yourself to truly understand why you're doing something, how you're doing something, to be available to recognize and believe and address and follow through to whatever your horse's feedback is. That is the true partnership that so many people are striving for. The question is, are you willing to take the time and make the commitment to truly be mentally, emotionally, and physically present when you're with your horse so that you can do best by him? Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.